I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons first. Thank you so much to my Biblios brand, Biblia Howler, Bibliomancer, and my new Bibliomancers, David and Cullen. It means a lot to me that you give me your extra support for my passion and hobby. Hi everyone, Petrik here. In today's video, I'll be talking about all the books that I want to read in the month of August. And yes, it is the month of August already, and just like usual, I will list some books, probably around 8 books, that I plan to read within this month. Whether I will be able to finish them all or not, that's another story, but I want to try reading any of these books within the month of August. And of course, I will start by talking about 2 carryover from last month. I already predicted that I won't be able to finish them last month because these 2 books, well, one of them anyway, is super massive. It will be the biggest fantasy book, the biggest single volume fantasy book that I have ever read once I'm done with it. And that is To Green Angel Tower by Ted Williams. This is the 3rd and final book in the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn trilogy. And I am still not sure whether I will be reading The Last King of Boston art within this year or not. I think that will be within next year. That's the plan anyway. But for those of you who are wondering, where is the Stone of Farewell, the second book, the Stone of Farewell read-along? The live chat conversation with Alex from Tall Guy Reads, like the one that I did for the Dragonbone chair. Well, I think after doing some conversation and discussion with Alex from Tall Guy Reads, I think we have decided to just push this into our To Green Angel Tower discussion instead. Because both of us think that we don't have too many things to discuss in the Stone of Farewell. So we will just talk about Stone of Farewell and To Green Angel Tower together in one video, in one live conversation video. And that probably will happen at the end of the month. I will definitely make an announcement about this closer to the date. But now I'm excited to read this one. I think this is the month where I will finally finish reading To Green Angel Tower. It is more than 500,000 words long, probably 530,000 or 550,000 words long. It is huge. It's like the Dragonbone chair and Stone of Farewell combined. You have one To Green Angel Tower. So yeah, but I'm pumped. I'm so looking forward to reading this. Hopefully this will be as good as the Dragonbone chair or even better. And because of how huge To Green Angel Tower is, I will read something short in the middle of reading To Green Angel Tower. And I plan to read Jade Shards by Fonda. This is a collection of short stories in the world of the Greenbone saga, and it will depict the beginning of some of our favorite characters in the Greenbone saga world. It will consist of 4 short stories, probably Kaul Hilo, Kaul Lan, Anden, and Ait Mada. I am so looking forward to reading this one. I mean, I think many of you know that the Greenbone saga is one of my favorite series of all time. It is the best completed trilogy that I have ever read, and Fonda has mentioned that this will be the final new story in the world of the Greenbone saga, at least for many years to come. No idea whether she planned to tackle or write another story in the world of the Greenbone saga after this or not, but she has mentioned in the beginning of this book that this will be the final stories in the Greenbone saga for now. But that this is a short book, only about 100 pages long, and I'm sure I can finish this while I'm reading To Green Angel Tower by Ted Williams. And once I'm done with To Green Angel Tower and also Jade Shards, I'm going to read another carryover from last month, and this is Esrahaddon by Michael J. Sullivan. This is the 3rd and the final book in the Rise and Fall trilogy, and many fans of the series have mentioned that this is one of the best books by Michael J. Sullivan. Some have mentioned that it is even the best one. So that makes me incredibly excited. I have mentioned many times now that I love Michael J. Sullivan's books, but I think, in my personal opinion, Legends of the First Empire and also the Rise and Fall trilogy, none of the books in this series have managed to reach the highest quality of the Rairia books yet. The closest one in terms of quality, in my opinion, would be Age of War, which is the 3rd book in the Legends of the First Empire, and also Fairyland, the 2nd book in the Rise and Fall trilogy. So here's hoping that Esrahaddon will be the best book of the Rise and Fall trilogy. And I mean, Esrahaddon, for those of you who have read the Rairia books, I think many of you will know that this is an incredibly important character and name in the world of Elan and the Rairia series. And yeah, I'm excited to find out what's going to happen inside this book. And the next book that I want to read in the month of August is, of course, one of my most anticipated books of the year. It is Lightbringer by Pierce Brown. This is the 6th and the penultimate volume in the Red Rising Saga series. There is still one more book left after this, titled Red God. I think that one will be released in 2024. But for Lightbringer, so far, I think I heard many people saying that it is one of the best books in the entire Red Rising Saga series. I am not sure whether I will agree with them or not, because many have mentioned that Dark Age is their favorite books in the series before the release of Lightbringer. And I think for me, on my first read, my favorite was still Golden Sun, and also on my second read now, my favorite is still Morning Star. So the best book in the Red Rising Saga series for me, whether it's on the second read or on the first read, belongs in the first trilogy. Let's see whether Lightbringer will top that or not. But after Dark Age, which I will talk about in more details regarding my reread of Dark Age, I think I have a good feeling that I will love this one. Rereading Red Rising Saga from the beginning, from Red Rising until Dark Age, is so worth it in my opinion. I mean, my reading experience of Dark Age was certainly improved by a lot. So yeah, incredibly excited about this, and as you can probably tell, this month is filled with many amazing reads. I mean, why not, right? And speaking of books I'm excited to read, I want to read Talonsister by Jan Williams. This is the first book in the Talonsister duology by Jan Williams, and I think many of you know that I'm a huge fan of the Winnowing Flame trilogy. And now Jan Williams is back with a new epic fantasy novel. Talonsister will be released in the month of September, but I already got an advanced reading copy and I want to read this as soon as I can. Fingers crossed I can actually read this within this month. And this is the premise of the novel. Levin has no memory of her life before she was a soldier. The process of turning her into a herald, a magical killing machine, was traumatic enough that it wiped her mind clean. Now, with the war won and the Imperium satisfied, she finds herself unemployed and facing a bleak future. Her fellow heralds are disappearing and her own mind seems to be coming apart at the seams. Strange visions, memories she shouldn't have, are resurfacing, and none of them make any sense. They show her brittle Tane, the ancient and mysterious island that the Imperium was never able to tame. Levin resolves to go to this place of magic and warring queens with the hope of finding who she really is. Envoy Kaito has done a number of important little jobs for the Imperium, most of them nasty, all of them in the shadows. His newest assignment is to escort the bone crafter Ginette Tailei as she travels across the Imperium. As the woman responsible for creating the heralds, his employers owe her a great deal. By Tailei, ambition alarms even Kaito, and her conviction that she has found a new source of Titan bones buried deep in the earth could lead to another even bloodier war. And finally, one more POV is Eunice was raised by the Griffins and has never seen another human face. She lives wild as they do, eating her meat raw and flying with her Talonsister. The Griffins fiercely protect their isolation. The piles of skulls that litter the mountains of Brittle Tane are testament to that, but the magic they guard will always make them a target for the greed of men. By choosing not to kill Eunice when she was just a baby, the Griffins may have doomed themselves, because the girl's past is coming for her and it carries a lethal blade. It sounds awesome to me, and just like the Winnowing Flame trilogy, it seems like Animal Companion will be very dominant in the narrative, which is a huge plus for me, and Secrets from the Past will be probably dominant in the story as well. But anyway, I look forward to diving myself into the next story, the next fantasy story by Jan Williams. I still have 2 or 3 more books that I might read in the month of August, and the next one is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This will be the first time I read any YA book by Sanderson, I think, unless we count The Frugal Wizard as a YA book, which I think it actually counts. But I haven't read the Skyward series yet, and I hope Frugal Wizard is not a good example, it's not a great example of his great YA stories, of Sanderson's great YA books. Many fans of Sanderson have mentioned that Skyward is one of Sanderson's best books, which is impressive considering that this is a YA, and I do not expect Sanderson to be good at writing YA. Based on Frugal Wizard and also some teenage characters like Liv from the Stormlight Archive that I've read. But here's hoping that he will prove me wrong with Skyward. And Defiant, the final book, will be released in the month of November, so here's me trying to catch up with reading all the books in the Skyward before Defiant release. And after that, the next book that I want to read is probably the final reread, the final book that I will reread in this year, and it is The Mirror's Truth by Michael R. Fletcher. This is the second book in the Manifest Delusion series, and the third and final book in the Manifest Delusion, A War to End All, is coming in September. So yeah, that's why I want to do a reread of The Mirror's Truth before that. And yeah, I did a reread of Beyond Redemption. It was great to finally reread that book after 6 years. So this will be the same case. It will be after 6 years, and I look forward to reading this one. From my memory, this is probably Michael R. Fletcher's best book. Let's see whether it holds up on reread or not. But either way, I definitely need to do a second read of this series before I tackle A War to End All, because I remember so little about the details of this world now, as proven from my reread of Beyond Redemption. Also, I love this cover art. This cover art is done by John Anthony Di Giovanni, and I think it remains one of Michael R. Fletcher's best cover art to this day. And finally, the last book that I want to start reading within the month of August, it is The Path of Daggers by Robert Jordan. Now, I do not expect to be able to finish this one at all within this month. Based on my experience of reading A Crown of Swords, which took me an entire month to finish, I do not think I will be able to finish Path of Daggers within this month. But I want to start reading it this month, because I want to conquer the slog of the Wheel of Time. I want to conquer the entire Wheel of Time series, and I plan to do that as slowly as possible. Maybe that's not too correct, but let's just say that I want to read this at my own pace, as comfortable as possible. And yeah, the slog was not a joke in A Crown of Swords. I hope Path of Daggers will be a better experience. Based on the comments I got, it seems like people either said that it's much worse than A Crown of Swords, or people said that it's much better compared to A Crown of Swords. But many agree that Book 9 and Book 10 are the worst of the series. So yeah, wish me luck on this. So that's pretty much all the novels that I plan to read in the month of August. Again, just like usual, I won't be able to read all of them. These are just the books that I think, based on my reading mood right now, I might tackle in the month of August this month. And for manga, I think I will be doing another reread of Vinland Saga. It has been a while since I've read that manga series, and yeah, I miss the characters, I miss the story, and I want to read it again. And other than that, I think that's pretty much it for my August TBR. I know that's a very ambitious reading pile. And yeah, do let me know what you think about my TBR pile in the month of August, and let me know which books do you plan to read this month. As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.